Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you. Yes.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has his game ready.
Let's go!
It's the all-wheel drive event at Lithia Ford of Boise. From hunting trips to ski trips to trips to Grandma's house. Nobody does AWD like LFB, Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, rowpaint.com, and the Blue and Orange store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Good morning from Las Vegas, Fremont Street, historic Fremont Street in downtown Las Vegas. Bronco Nation News has made it ahead of tomorrow's Boise State basketball game against the UNLV Running Rebels at the Thomas and Mack Center. And, of course, when you come to Las Vegas, you've got to come to Circa Resort and Casino, the finest palace in all the land. Unbelievable spot Derek Stevens has put together here in year 4, I guess it is now, Circa Sports. Quite frankly, folks, it is unbelievable. The largest sports book in the world, square footage-wise. You make your way in down the steps, 3 levels at the Circa Sportsbook here at Circa Resort and Casino. Who knows what Stephen A. Smith is talking about up there on the TV. All the lines are on the screen. You got the final NFL wildcard game tonight. The Texans -3 over the Steelers. And look at this place from high atop Victory Burger, 3 levels here at Circa Resort and Casino in the Circa Sportsbook. Unbelievable spot. If you are a sports fan, you've got to get down here to Circa Resort and Casino. They've got the pool. They've got the gambling. This place truly is unbelievable, and we are happy to be here with you on Bronco Nation News. My name is BJ Rains. Welcome on in to Circa Resort and Casino. What a view, what a setup today. Broadcasting live from the Sportsbook here at Circa Resort and Casino. We are excited to be here today. Ahead of the basketball game tomorrow night. Full coverage today, full coverage tomorrow, and the basketball game tomorrow night, a 9 p.m. Mountain Time start to see if the Broncos can get back on track against UNLV. 3 games in a row the Broncos have lost. Obviously, the turmoil yet on Saturday with the issue with the students, the team getting blown out in historic fashion. We can talk about all of that on today's show. There's some transfer portal news with the football team as well. Brad Bedell is going to join us at the top of the hour, and we'll talk a little football. Apologize for the late start today. Brad had a conflict, and we just thought it was easier than me going by myself for an hour. We wanted to get Brad's thoughts, so I said I'll start at 9:30 Mountain Time. We'll talk a little basketball, and then Brad will join us around 10 o'clock, and we'll talk a little football as well. But again, thank you to Aaron and the whole marketing department down here at Circa, Brooke, and, of course, Tyler and David and Wilbo and Banksy, and, of course, Derek Stevens, the owner of this place, for having us down here once again for Boise State's game against UNLV. I saw Rob and Melinda Draper, big BNN supporters, on the flight down, seen them down here at Circa. They are huge Boise State fans. They came down for the game, and they said, well, we got to stay at Circa if we're coming down for the game. So cool to see folks staying at Circa and taking my advice on the advertising, and they are having a great time. We are all having a great time down here at Circa Resort and Casino getting set for the game tomorrow. Your next trip to Las Vegas, folks, you got to get down here to Circa. It is unbelievable. The Mountain West Tournament. I know some of you guys are on the fence. The team's struggling. Are they going to get to 500? How many games are they going to win? It's not worth my money or time to go to Vegas. I'll tell you what, folks, conference tournament weekend is the best weekend to go to Las Vegas. There's way more games in the NCAA tournament. You get conferences playing games literally from 8 a.m. Pacific time all the way till midnight. Conference tournament week is the week to come to Vegas. So whether you have high hopes for Boise State or not, come down here with your buddies, go to a Boise State game or two, sit here all day, sit out at the pool all day, and watch football, and you'll be amazed at how awesome this place is. Get your buddies together, and there's never a better time to come down to Circa Resort and Casino for March Madness, the conference tournaments. So make plans now to come down and join us. We'll probably try to get some events and things going and have some fun down here at Circa in March, maybe the pool party again. And so I know folks are a little down on the team right now, but there's still plenty of reasons to come down to Circa Resort and Casino for March Madness and have some fun down here. And it'll be, winner take all down here for that. I mean, Boise State's going to have to win the tournament, so you could argue there's even more urgency to come down and support the Broncos because of what's going to be on the line. Now, I do think that folks saying, can they finish 500? Like, I know, come on, man. Like, you really believe this team's going to finish 500, like below 500? Like, they'd have to be, 3 more games below than they already are. Like, I just don't see that happening. Are they struggling? Yes. But let's not forget Air Force, Fresno, 2 games against San Jose. I mean, there's still a lot of winnable games left this season, so I really don't see them. I would be surprised. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go on some huge run and get back to 4th place or something like that, but I still think they can finish above 500 on the season. I still think there's a lot of games left. But with that said, some serious changes have to happen, and Leon Rice promised that those changes are going to happen. We'll see what those changes are. By the way, we are going to talk a little football. Broncos got another running back this morning in the transfer portal. Does that worry you that either Sire Gaines or Dylan Riley, I mean, is that just insurance? Are they worried one of them might leave, or do they want to just have 4, quality running backs in the mix? And if you're a transfer running back and they already have a transfer running back and you scored 5 touchdowns last year at Pitt, why are you coming to Boise State when they have Dylan Riley and Sire Gaines back and another running back from Kansas already in the fold? That just is a little, you hope your first thought is, somebody's leaving, and you certainly hope that's not the case. They always carry 4 running backs. Well, they've got 2 freshmen coming in, I believe. So, I mean, they've got plenty of running backs. That worries me a little bit, folks, just to be completely honest. I know they lost Breezy and Sherrod, but, I mean, they knew they were losing Sherrod. We'll see. I'm not saying somebody's leaving. I would just say I'd be at least paying attention to that, now that they've added another running back from Pitt. That would worry me a little bit, because why would a guy that scored 5 touchdowns at Pitt and have 3 years of eligibility left want to come to a place where they already have the Kansas back and you have Gaines and Riley both back? I just, again, don't know anything. I wouldn't say someone's leaving, but I think you have to at least pay attention to that as a possibility, and it might make you just makes me question things a little bit. But maybe I hang around with Mike Prater too much and I think negative being around Mike. But all jokes aside, we will get to the football talk. Brad Bedell is going to join us. Plenty of transfer portal talk because they got the safety I want them to get. They got the offensive lineman I was saying they needed to get. So they've been just killing it in the transfer portal, and you've got to be really, really excited. Now, I don't know if these guys are any good. We'll see if they're good enough. We'll see if they make a difference. But in terms of the positions of need, Boise State certainly went out and addressed a lot of positions of need in the transfer portal. So we will discuss that with Brad Bedell coming up in about 20 minutes or so here on Bronco Nation News. But, excuse me, having my I'm going to take a quick drink of my Circa water here because I've been talking a lot. Love Circa. Excuse me. But back to basketball first. And I want your thoughts. I want your comments. I saw somebody in the chat say, let's try to keep it positive. I mean, yeah, we don't need everybody always accuses me of being ultra positive, and I get that. But, I mean, there's not a lot to be positive about right now. Like, I don't know if we need to go as far as demand Leon Rice be fired in the chat. But if you want to be negative, you want to be disappointed with what you're seeing, I can't tell you not to. I mean, even a ultra positive guy like me is having a hard time sugarcoating this one because it has not been pretty with the it has not been pretty with the what we've seen. And that game the other night I said it was rock bottom in my tweet after the game, and then Leon Rice came out in his post-game press conference and called it rock bottom as well. And just the optics of the Utah State students taking over the arena and taking over the student section at the end of the game. You heard Abe Jackson's comments on the post-game show. He was fired up that Boise State allowed them to stay in the student section and then take a picture. An usher from the stadium was taking the picture for all of them after the game. I mean, it was just a surreal scene with the chants and everything they had going on. And Boise State there losing their third in a row, their biggest home loss under Leon Rice, their biggest home loss since 1999. The Broncos hadn't lost a home game by more than that since, I believe, when Cincinnati and Bob Huggins came to town in 1999. So you're talking 26 years, if my math's correct, and it's probably not, that Boise State has not lost a game inside Extra Mile Arena by that many points, by at least 25 points. So a historic loss, 2+ decades. Most points they've ever given up at home under Leon Rice. I mean, you can go down the line with all the things, but the optics of what happened, and I'm not here to rip on the marketing department. I think that Cody Gogler and his crew and the whole marketing department are doing the best they can. They have actually done a tremendous job trying to come up with ways to do things. But in the end of the day, you cannot force the students to come. Jeremiah Dickey, Cody Gogler, the whole marketing team, they cannot force the students to come. And I get it. They were on break, but it was a Saturday night. I believe school starts today. So kids are either in town or a lot of them, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but a lot live in the Treasure Valley. And I think in terms of actual Boise State students, you could make a real case that Utah State had more students than Boise State students at the game. And that is borderline embarrassing. I know there were some families. My wife and kids came, some kids on their baseball team, some other just regular people came. They took advantage of the free tickets, which we'll talk about. But if the student section had some folks in it, but not a lot of them were students. And if you want to talk about actual students I think that Utah State might have had more actual students at this game than Boise State, and that is, frankly, borderline embarrassing for the student section, for the school, for everybody. And I get it, it's break, but I just cannot imagine there's not a couple hundred Boise State fans that are back home at mom's house in Meridian that don't want to get in their car and drive down to the game. And I get it. Folks are going to come on here and go, "Oh, the product's terrible. Why would they come watch this? They got better things to do." And it is truly the chicken or the egg. I understand that. There's not a lot exciting you about wanting to come watch this team play right now. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to sugarcoat that one bit. The team is not really exciting right now. There's not a lot of movement on offense. You don't see any cool plays. You don't see any dunks. I'm not trying to say that, but it truly is the chicken or the egg. And sometimes when they're not playing their best, the big crowds are what can help get them on a roll. And we certainly saw that did not happen against Grand Canyon. 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, I'll have a little more sympathy for that one. But at 7 o'clock on a Saturday, the rest of the crowd was pretty good. You had folks on three sides that I saw up in the balcony. You had pretty good amount of crew. You had your traditional kind of empty lifetime seats and some of the orange seats open on the side. But for the most part, I thought the rest of the crowd was actually pretty good and ready to get into the game. And then you get down 10-0 to start the game. And that was just couldn't have been a worse start. And it was just kind of non-competitive from there. Broncos never really were in the game. And it was shocking outcome. I was not expecting that. People could say, "How are you shocked? You've seen this team play." Yeah, but I mean, we've seen Leon Rice teams respond. We've seen the way this team has responded in the past, and I don't think any of you showed up honestly thinking they were going to be down by 30 points at some point in the game. It just didn't go the way anybody thought, and it was brutal. And again, I give the marketing team credit. Whoever it was that came up with that idea, I give them credit. Hey, our students aren't coming. Let's try to get anybody in the building we can. My family saw that. We woke up on Saturday morning, saw the tweet. Anybody that wants to come can come if you have a student ID. And my kids said, let's go. So my kids, my wife, they got some friends together. They came like they wouldn't have probably come otherwise. And so I think it was a great promotion. They got some other extra people to come into the building. And against any other student section, any other team, it would have been a non-issue. But it's Utah State. Their students are unbelievably passionate. They're it's only 4 hours away. And when that happened and some of them got the idea to make the trip, it ended up being not what they were probably wanting to do and what they, I know it wasn't what they wanted to do, but the whole changing it back to say Idaho, I mean, they were kind of stuck at that point once they said free tickets to everybody. And then when it looked like Utah State was going to bring some students, they kind of got in a tough spot. And they changed it to Idaho. And I get it. Cody said, end of story, love you, but we're not doing it in the crowd. And I get it. Like, to give Utah State students free tickets in the Boise State student section, not a great look. I would have maybe given them tickets up in the corner or something and just said, hey, you get a free ticket because we said we would, but you can't sit in the student section. Go sit up in where they ended up sitting, section 57. But they changed it. And then when they changed it, that almost backfired and made it worse because after that, I think that kind of fired up even more Utah State students where they were like, oh, really? You're not keeping us out. We'll pay. We don't care. Let's get even more people. And then you had the basketball team donating $1,000 from the coaching staff. You had other boosters get it up to $3,000, I think. And you had, I think it was over 130 students that made the trip from Logan. And that section was loud. That section was making noise the whole game. You can say what you want about some of their chants and things, but overall, their passion is unmatched in this conference. I mean, they literally wear like surgical gloves when they're cheering at some of these home games to make more noise. Like, you can say what you want about the Herd and Utah State and what you think about their fans, whatever. But, Boise State fans, it should be a little bit of a wake-up call, a little bit of a, I don't know, egg on the face moment. I don't think it really will be because I just don't think they care. I don't think they care. Everyone, it should be embarrassing for Boise State students. Well, it should be, and it is, but I just don't think they care. They come to football games. They enjoy the football games. That's an atmosphere. That's something to do. For whatever reason, the basketball games are not. It needs to be something where at 6:15 when there's a 7 o'clock game, somebody's walking down the hall of the dorms and just kicking everybody out, and everybody goes to the game. But I just don't know what you can do to get the students back inside, and that's probably a discussion for the offseason. I get it was winter break, and that's certainly a factor. And like I said, but it backfired. The plan from the marketing department backfired, but I'm not going to criticize the marketing department. I'm not going to criticize Jeremiah Dickey, Cody Gogler. They tried to do what they could to help get people in the stands because they knew the students weren't going to come. And Utah State students were the wrong group to put that challenge on because they answered it. And the optics at the end of the game with them cheering and them chanting, na, 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 hey, hey, goodbye, as all the Boise State fans are leaving. And the fact that they were way up in the corner of the arena and still making more noise, in the second half than Boise State fans. I mean, it was just it was a surreal scene, and it was not a good look for anybody at Boise State. And it was kind of summing up this season. You lose to Hawaii Pacific in the first game, and that's obviously a tough one. Some of the other things that have happened along the way, and then obviously the 3-game losing streak here. It's just been not the season a lot of people expected for Boise State basketball to this point. I am under the belief, and again, people call me Leon Rice homer, whatever, apologist, whatever. I am under the belief that right now Leon Rice deserves the chance to figure this out. He's been here 16 years. He's the winningest coach in program history. I get it. The first comment will be he's 0-10 in the tournament. What has he done in March? I understand that. But I believe Leon Rice deserves a chance to figure this out. I don't think one quote-unquote bad year. You can say, oh, they missed the tournament last year. They were in the championship game of the conference tournament, and they were one of the first 4 teams that didn't make the NCAA tournament. They've had a pretty good run here the last 3-4 years. Teams are allowed to have a clunker. You're allowed to have – it happens, guys. Teams have clunkers. Teams have a year where they just aren't very good. And so to immediately jump and say it's time to fire Leon Rice right now, I think is wrong, and I don't think that's the way to go. But if this continues and they continue to just fall apart and they lose 5 more games in a row or something and it's spiraling out of control, then I think all options are on the table, or at least worth considering in terms of changes to the assistant coaching staff. You got to shake something up at some point here. Leon Rice said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, and he promised that they were not going to do the same thing. So I am very curious to see what the changes coming to the lineup are and who's going to play and who's not in the rotation. The team will practice today and then fly down here to Las Vegas. But I personally believe, and again, I know some of you will criticize me, whatever, that's fine. But I personally believe Leon Rice has earned the right to try to figure this out. And I also believe if you look around the Mountain West, look around college basketball, teams are allowed to have a stinker. Boise State hasn't had a stinker in 5+ years. It is what it is. And like I said, even though it's a quote-unquote stinker, they're still 9-7. Let's pause. Let's see what happens the next 2 months. And if they're 3-15 in conference, then yeah, we can have a discussion about some changes to the coaching staff and things like that. But if they, maybe they go on a run here and this whole point is moot. So let's see what happens here. But like I said, folks need to just take a deep breath. If the season continues the way it is, I certainly think you'd go into next year. You want to call it hot seat, pressure, whatever. I certainly think you'd go into next year, but I do think that he deserves, another year to try to figure this thing out. But if you go 2 years in a row like this, then I think there'd be fair questions about, things moving forward. But right now, I think folks need to take a deep breath. Teams have rough years. It happens. Teams have stinkers. It's a bad year. They haven't had a bad year in 5 years, 6 years. I mean, it happens. They were 13-20, I think, in like 2019 maybe or whatever it was. Like, it happens. Then guess what? They rebounded and they made the tournament 3 years in a row and nearly made it last year. So I just think the quick judgment to get rid of the winningest coach in program history is a little short-sighted from some folks. So I think he deserves right now to figure out how to get out of this. And I would say he gets another season to try to figure this out as well. And I believe that's what Jeremiah Dickey and Cody Gogler and the whole crew over there would do. But again, let's see what happens the next 2 months. And if this continues and the team falls apart and they get blown out tomorrow night by UNLV and other things happen, then certainly, things could change in the future. But that hasn't happened yet, so we're going off what we know right now. But what changes would you see? What changes would you want to see to the starting lineup or the lineup in general? Dylan Andrews, minus 53 in the last 2 games. Jay Tuss asked Leon Rice about that, I believe. 1 assist for Nato and Andrews in the last game. I know Andrews finally started scoring a little bit, which was a good sign, but still 10 assists for the team, guys, 10 assists, and 5 of the assists were from Dom Parolin. Dom Parolin had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. The team had 10 assists. Like, it's great when your center's getting some assists. When you have a center that can pass, that's great. But when he has 5 of your 10 assists, that's not good at all. So, they've got to figure out the ball movement. I asked after the game, do you have to look at offensive scheme? Do you have to look at the plays you're running? What can you do to help the offense? And Leon Rice essentially said, and you can go back and watch the post game, like they're not doing what he didn't say it exactly like this, but he basically said they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I would tend to agree. If you're like a common sense person watching the game, do you really believe Tim Duryea tells them just stand around and go one-on-one every time, and we're not going to have any plays, pass the ball around when there's 10 seconds on the shot clock, just go one-on-one and then take a bad shot? Do you really think that's what Tim Duryea is telling him? Probably not. But with that said, why is he telling them to do something different then, and it's not happening? So why is the offense not better than it is? Why are they not running more set plays? You looked at what Utah State did. They have a flow. They're cutting. They're moving. There's constant movement. There's a flow, and they're getting guys back cuts and easy shots. And that was a perfect example of what Boise State fans would like to see. And we're not there. We're not seeing it. And so the shooting has been really, really bad. I don't think anybody thought that the shooting would be this bad. That's been a big part of the problem. They're just not hitting shots. I mean, your offense looks great when you're hitting shots. When you have horrible offense for 28 seconds, but you hit a three at the end of the shot clock, it's a, quote, great possession. You got a three. So I do think that, just making shots would help, but they don't get a lot of easy shots. Man, they do not get a lot of easy shots. There's not a lot of open shots right now. And, Utah State's a very good defensive team. I understand that. But overall, I think that there's major issues right now. I'm not ready to go this far, BSU Bill. Players have checked out, aren't bought in. I don't know if I'm quite ready to say they're checked out. I mean, you got over half the season still left. I don't know how you're already checked out when you're, I wouldn't go that far. They got a lot still to play for. As I said, all you have to do is win the conference tournament, and you still go to the NCAA tournament. So all you have to do in the next 2 months, 6 weeks, 7 weeks is figure out the rotation, figure out what you're doing, get your confidence going, and go in feeling good to March, and anything can happen. So I don't know if they're giving up on the season, if they're checked out. That's not fair. I get it. These kids are professionals now. They're making money. We can criticize them. But to act like we know what's going on inside the head of a 18 to 23-year-old kid and say that he's checked out of the season, I just don't think is fair at this point. The kids are trying. It's just not clicking. There's a lot of individual talent on the team. But I think that for whatever reason, sometimes you get a lot of talent and the pieces just don't click. And point guard play obviously has been a big reason for that. The point guard play has not been great. And someone's asking in the chat, does Dylan Andrews start going forward? I don't know. Leon Rice is talking about massive changes. Would you, you're admitting, I don't want to say you're admitting you made a mistake, but if you pull Dylan Andrews from the starting lineup, you're admitting that you're one of your highest priced offseason acquisitions is not helping the team right now. And that, it's the chicken or the egg. Can you get Dylan Andrews to start moving the ball more and passing the ball more and driving to the hoop more? I mean, Dylan Andrews, it feels like he can get to the rim pretty much anytime he wants, but it's just a lot of dribbling at the top of the key and then a lot of pull-up three-pointers and pull-up jumpers. I mean, was there any more fitting shot so far this season that should have maybe let us know some things were coming than the final shot against Hawaii Pacific when Dylan Andrews just dribbled the ball for 15 seconds and then did a pull-up jumper from the elbow and bricked it, and then they lost by 1? I mean, it's been a lot of that this season. So the problem is they just don't have a lot of options. Julian Bowie sitting out this season due to his family situation, his father passing away. He's going to try to get a hardship waiver. He's just not ready to play, and the Broncos are supporting him. And you have to support him for that. But with Bowie out, I mean, other than NATO, you just don't have any other options at point guard. You just don't. And they liked it against San Diego State when NATO and Andrews played together. They're both very good defensively, and they were doing some things, moving the ball offensively. But when you can't just sit Andrews because NATO can't play 40 minutes, and also when you're sitting Andrews, that means somebody else has to be in there. And is that Keene? I love Keene, but I mean he's not a guy that's just like a pull-up straight shooter, and I'm not sure a NATO style fits well with Keene or an Andrews style fits well with Keene. I don't know. Like I said, sometimes you have really good individual players and the talent just doesn't necessarily always work or always fit. And in this situation right now with the basketball team, they've just got a lot of individual talent, and it's not fitting, and they're struggling right now. So we'll see what happens tomorrow against UNLV. I haven't seen the line or the spread yet. I don't think it's up yet. They've got tonight's games up. But Boise State will be a favorite against UNLV, but UNLV is a very athletic, and everyone's going to look at their record and say they're not very good. But, I mean, they're a very athletic team, and they could certainly bite you. If Boise State doesn't figure some things out tomorrow, there's no doubt they could lose tomorrow to UNLV. So tough times for the basketball team. We'll see what the changes are to the lineup. We'll track all that, and we'll have plenty of game day basketball coverage tomorrow. Jay Tuss will join me. We'll be back at the regular 9 a.m. time tomorrow, and Jay Tuss will join me, and we'll talk a lot of basketball and get set for the game tomorrow. But tough times, three losses in a row, and the Broncos, after one of the more surreal scenes in recent Boise State basketball history, with Utah State taking over the arena and then Boise State losing by 25. We'll see what this team's made of tomorrow night at the Thomas and Mack Center, if they can rebound and beat UNLV tomorrow night. And then you got Colorado State at home on Friday, and then you got at Wyoming. Interesting stretch here coming up for the Broncos, and got to find a way to get some wins. All right, we got transfer portal news. We got all kinds of football talk. Our man Brad Bedell is going to join us in just a minute, but I do want to thank a couple sponsors here. Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. Lithia Ford of Boise. You can check them out online at lithiafordboise.com. View their full inventory of vehicles. I know Jim Sturk, believe, took care of Brad Bedell when he was coaching here, and they take care of a lot of the coaches with vehicles and things. So Jeremiah Dickey, Spencer Danielson, I believe, have vehicles from them. You see all the NIL deals. They just signed Ben Ford to an NIL deal, and that might be the greatest NIL deal of all time. Ben Ford getting an NIL deal with Lithia Ford. Awesome stuff there, and congratulations to Ben Ford and Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online or view their location there on Fairview Avenue in Boise. Hey, down here at Circa, and the Sun Cruisers were flowing yesterday watching some football. They'll be flowing tonight for the Texans-Steelers game. Sun Cruiser, we're in the Sun Cruiser studios. And the Sun Cruiser studios were just made to be here because Circa was one of the first ones to get Sun Cruiser, and it's kind of spread from there. And it's just a tremendous beverage, whether it's the iced tea lemonade, whether it's the lemonade vodkas. They got so many different options. Sun Cruiser, crack open a Sun Cruiser today and let the good times roll. Hey, we mentioned Idaho Central Credit Union, Pearson Carmichael, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Idaho Central Credit Union back on board as a sponsor of Boise State. They got some NIL deals, and we appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. Tomorrow night, if the Broncos can get the offense figured out and get 75 points, you can get a 75-cent fountain drink from our friends at Jackson's. Just use that Let's Go Rewards app, and our friends at Jackson's will hook you up with a 75-cent fountain drink 2 days after the game. So 75-cent drinks on Friday if the Broncos can get 75 points tomorrow night. And that's from our friends at Jackson's when you use the Jackson's Let's Go Rewards app. Hey, TacoBellWorks.com is the website for the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News, whether it's the breakfast quesadillas, they got the crispy chicken strips, the slushies and things for the kids. Again, they have so many great, elaborate options, delicious options there at Taco Bell, but my kids just love the good old-fashioned cheesy roll-ups. And so many great options at Taco Bell. Check them out. And visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. We appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. And the Blue and Orange Store online at theblueandorangestore.com. You can get all the Boise State gear you need, all the 208 shirts, the basketball jerseys, football gear, 4,000-plus hats on the hat wall there at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame location. They got like 15,000 hats or something on the location there at the Boise Town Square Mall. And, of course, you can order their full inventory of shirts, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it, online, anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com. All right, our man Brad Bedell, nice enough to fit us in with his schedule. I know he's got a lot going on with his work, but he's nice enough to jump on here. Brad, I'm in your spot here, man. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. We miss you. I know we saw some folks, Rob and Melinda Draper, that were on my flight that were in our Survivor contest with us. I even saw Rob wanted me to send you a picture. I'll have to send it after the show because he was splitting face guards in your honor.
You win?
And I believe he did end up okay on that hand, actually. Yes. So it was the virtual one, so no one could get mad at him.
Well, that's just
you can't split the virtual one, or you don't play the virtual one.
I don't play the virtual one.
All right.
I mean,
well, we all don't have the
virtual one where you don't get the reaction to everybody else.
Yeah, I know. Well, you don't do it for that. You do it to make money. You said it's gambling.
It is gambling.
But I'm going to turn you up here on my end. I don't know if folks need to maybe turn me down a little bit, and then I'll turn your volume up so you can hear Brad a little bit. But, yeah, we don't all have the Brad Bedell bank account. So when we come down here, it's like, how do you get the cheapest, freest drinks? And when you play the little virtual ones there at the bar, they'll just kind of keep refilling your cup. So that's kind of the area that we have to sit in there. But
they give you free drinks when you sit at a bar and you play that stuff?
I think, yeah, but I actually think that down here, a lot of these places, even if you're playing they still give you free drinks if you're playing regular blackjack. So
I know that, but I didn't know if you're sitting at a bar.
If they have the little virtual tape, the little virtual video poker and all that right in front of you, yeah, that count. As long as you're playing and you got money in there, they'll keep refilling your drinks.
Oh yeah, beers. Bet you the beers come faster.
They do when you're closer to the bar. Yeah, I may have just got you onto something there. I think but the problem for me is typically, Brad, I buy in for my $100 at blackjack. I order my free drink, and before the free drink can get back to me, I've usually lost my $100 at blackjack. So I usually have to just stand around ticked off for my $100 drink when it arrives, a couple minutes later. So that's typically how it goes for me. But we had a good time, Brad, when you were down here in August signing up for the contest. I'm actually doing our show literally from the spot where we decided to lose $1,000 by signing up for the contest last year in August. But excited to have you on. Hopefully folks will come back next year and join us for the football contest. I don't know if you saw or not, but they had 5 people split the $18 million in the Survivor contest. There were 5 entries. We made it to Thanksgiving and then got knocked out, but there ended up being 5 people that split, I think, about 3.1 million or something each. Not a bad payday there. But Brad, appreciate you coming on, and I want to talk about the transfer portal because I don't know if you've seen it or not yet this morning. Boise State picking up another running back transfer from Pitt, who had 5 touchdowns last season, was a redshirt freshman, I believe, and had 200 and something rushing yards, played in 12 games, was like a backup running back for Pitt, but was a contributor. He had 5 rushing touchdowns as a backup. That's now the second transfer portal running back they've added. They added the Kansas transfer, who had way less production, but did score a touchdown last year, played a little bit. But that's 2 transfer running backs they've added. Maybe I'm hanging around with Mike Prater too much, but the cynical negative thoughts in my head are, do you get worried about one of the other running backs possibly leaving before Friday and you're trying to either A, just get some insurance, or B, you believe, that one of them might be leaving? Because why would a transfer running back from Pitt who scored 5 touchdowns last year want to come where he already sees Gaines and Riley, and then they already added another transfer running back? Maybe he just thinks he's better than them and he'll get the carries, and I don't know, but would you at all be worried, or are you worried when you hear that they now have 2 transfer running backs added into the mix? And I know somebody said, well, Greg Ard left, the freshman. I get that. Sherrod was gone. Breezy Dubar was gone. You are trying to fill out some of the numbers, but I believe they have 2 incoming freshmen that were running backs as well. So maybe that's what it is. They're just adding more running backs to the mix, and everything's great. And frankly, that's what I hope it is. I'm not on here hoping a Boise State running back transfers. That would be awful. And I don't expect, or I don't know anything to say they are transferring. I just personally find it a little interesting this morning when they get this kid from Pitt. What are your thoughts?
That makes them have 6 scholarship running backs in the room. Am I right?
I will have to look that up while you're talking. Give me 20 seconds.
I guess the numbers, when you look at numbers wise, it's interesting. You got 2 returning, you got 2 portal, that's 4. You have the high school kids, both on scholarship, that's 6.
How many do you typically have?
We've had 5. 5, possibly 6 with some freshmen, but we've never had 2 freshmen. What now? The kid from Kansas is a sophomore?
He's got I think 3 years left, if I believe.
Yeah, sophomore, junior, senior year. What does the kid from Pitt have?
Also has 3 years.
So they're in the same class. The 2
so
freshmen,
I have one freshman running back that I see listed on the roster right now.
Okay, so 1 freshman.
Folks in the chat can let us know if I'm screwing something up here and I forgot about somebody, but I see 1 freshman running back right now. And
is
then
that the kid they signed?
Yeah, Kellen. Is it Keelan Chavis, I believe?
Yes, Keelan Chavis. So you got 1 freshman, you got 2 incoming sophomores from the portal from Kansas and Pitt, and you got 2 on the roster. So that's 5. So that's right.
They have a walk-on as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to carry. I'm just talking scholarship numbers. You're going to carry. You have to carry the 6 going to come from the walk-on spot. I can understand why they kind of did it. They're thinking.
But why would the Pitt running back want to come here? I guess
I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not sure why the Pitt running back would come. I mean, they just got one from the Kansas young man. Now, was he injured last year?
Which one?
The Kansas kid.
No, he was not injured, but he was like a third down goal line back.
Okay.
I think but he did play in multiple games and did score a touchdown, like I said, but he was kind of a power back that I think got like 10 carries or something. He was a third or fourth string running back.
Okay. Well, and then the last one, and I don't know anything about the Pitt kid, and I'm a little educated on the Kansas kid. Are either one of them returners?
Oh, Marion Sloan, by the way, there is another running back. He just doesn't get here till the summer, so they haven't put him on the roster yet. There is a second incoming running back, Marion Sloan. Yes, a 3-star kid, but he doesn't get here till the summer, which is why he's not listed on the roster yet. So there are 2 incoming freshman running backs that will be here before next season starts.
Yeah, so you got 2 incoming freshmen. You got 2 portal sophomores. Both have 3 years going, and you got the 2 kids returning.
And you do want to kind of like the quarterback position, but you do want to kind of stagger it, right? So you have multiple guys at different ages and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, Dylan Riley now is a true junior, I believe, and I guess Gaines is in the same class, I guess. But those are your oldest guys in the running back room right now.
Yeah, I mean, Gaines is going to be the guy. Both running backs are going to be – that are returning are going to – I'm to assume are going to be 1 and 2.
And,
right?
And you would think take 95% of the carries.
You would think. I mean, now if they go – it was a strong running game. I get it for Boise last year, and I understand that. But how long is the musical carries going to continue into the season until they find their one guy that's going to be their workhorse? And then you got somebody come off of that as your third down back or like what happened last night in Philly. You know, they have 2 really good running backs, obviously, in Quan, and then you got Tank Bigsby. So, you know, you need 2, right? So, but they had 2 incoming. I can understand why you get the 1 portal, but the 2 portal with the Pitt kid, unless he's a returner, and that's his prime, and they're thinking is a primary.
Yeah, and that was 30 minutes ago, so I apologize.
Right. No,
I didn't have a chance to study his film because the one thing, Brad, is, I mean, Malik Sherrod, they used him in the screen game like he did. Like, they used Gaines and Riley, and they did have a third back get production. But like I said, the Stewart kid is not that. He's more of a goal line, short yardage. Maybe this kid from Pitt is more of a speedster that can take Malik Sherrod's role as that third running back, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Bruiser, you know, obviously and the other thing is, I mean, there's something to say if you're going to get a bigger bruiser back.
See, we don't have to do any research on this show, Brad. We can be lazy and bad at our jobs, and folks just help us out. Jules Goff has no stats as being a returner, according to BSU Bill.
Thank you, BSL Bill. I don't know. It's interesting. It's actually intriguing. To answer your question, okay, because I got off of it, and I don't want to seem like that because I'm hiding in it. I don't understand getting 2 portal running backs, to answer your question. And
so that would at least open the door. I don't say worry you, but you would think that could open the door by Friday to one of the other 2 possibly. There possibly being some intel, they'd be a little worried about both of those guys coming back.
Signing that and looking into that, I could say that when we look by Friday, would it surprise us now? No.
And unfortunately, the way it works now is those guys could have both said 2 weeks ago, hey, we're good. We're coming back. I mean, I don't know if they signed officially or how that works, you know, and some of the stuff with the rev share, but, you know, they could have told the coaches they're coming back, and then all it takes is one phone call by 9:59 on Friday night and something changes. And I guess maybe you just say, hey, we got you over recruit. They wanted to come here, and that's great. But when this happens, though, Brad, it brings up the quarterback position because a lot of people in the chat in previous days have said, why do they keep recruiting and having all this competition at running back and keep bringing in running back transfers when they already have 2 established guys, and yet they won't do anything to bring in any kind of competition at the quarterback position? I know it's different. One guy plays versus 3 or 4 in a game, and that's probably the answer right there. But what would your rebuttal or response be to people say, why do they keep using scholarships to add more running backs and create competition there when you already have 2 established starters and productive all Mountain West type players, and yet you won't put the same kind of intensity and roster space into adding at the quarterback position?
Because they like the quarterback room.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's the answer. They like quarterback room. Right, wrong, and different. Boise State fans may be pissed. Oh, well, this is who we're riding with. This is who we think we're going to go win the new Pac-12 with. This is who, and I know this is going to be very polarizing. It's a split fan base, right? But I think they love the quarterback room, and they think they have what it takes with a strong running game to win this new conference. Yet to be determined. I think it's been true. Don't take last year with Maddox hurt and not having the year he had before. But if you have a strong running game with running backs that are healthy, So last year they had a really dinged up running back room. So are they seeing that like, okay, do we need to get a little heavier at running back? And knowing that the amount of carries some of these young men are going to take, that they can't – running backs rarely last for the season anymore. I mean, Love, he got dinged up a little bit Notre Dame. If you really look at the average carries in NFL running back is about 22 in a game because they get the landscape of the season, they get banged up so much. So that could be another reason why they take a running back, because they understand the philosophy is we're going to run first, play action, and deep throat. Well, throw it deep off that. Things like that. But to answer your question, I think they like the running back room. A really good Maddox gets to the playoff the year before that, and that's how they think they're going to design to win the new Pac-12, which I'm not going to second guess that. It's not my job to second guess it right now. It's our job to see what happens during the year. And then all of a sudden, if it works, hell, they're geniuses. If it doesn't work, I mean, that's why you make decisions. That's why you're in that head coaching chair and the staff, and you move on. And this is the plan. You sell the plan to the kids, and we're going to go win with this. And if you don't want to win like this, bye.
Well, they've addressed a lot of areas of need, Brad, over the weekend. They added another couple of players of some key areas of need on this roster, and I want to discuss that with you momentarily. The rest of the transfer portal news from the weekend and where the roster currently sits, and if you think they need anything else at this point. But I do want to thank Bauscher Real Estate, Matt Bauscher and Company, BauscherRealEstate.com. You can check them out if you're looking to buy or sell a home. We bought and sold our home with Matt Bauscher and his team. They did a tremendous job helping us, and they'll fight for you for every dollar. He's a Bronco through and through. You can support a Bronco, support somebody that supports NIL, and that's Matt Bauscher online at BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com is where you can go. You can get 40% off when you download that Skip app, up to 40% off in the Skip app there in your app store. And there's 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Love that Kuno location. You just get that family-friendly kind of hometown grocery store feel when you walk into Ridley's. You're not dealing with all the corporate BS. So Ridley's Family Markets, check them out online at shopridleys.com. Rowpaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company, 20% off your winter painting projects right now when you use our friends at Rowe Painting, whether that's interior, exterior painting, whether that is the concrete coatings that they're famous for, all the various painting options, commercial, industrial, residential. They can do it all, and that's rowpaint.com, our friends at Rowe Painting. Hey, transportation compliance service, they can help you get into the trucking industry every step of the way. They're a local company in the Treasure Valley helping out folks all over the world, frankly. So if you want to get into the trucking industry, you're just looking for a new job, fresh start, career change, haven't thought much about it, think about the trucking industry, and a local company is ready to help you with the paperwork, and they can help get you going. Bronco Nation News supporter, transcompservice.com. Hey, Signature Roofing, leave us a voicemail. We want to get some voicemails in there. Signature Roofing, you can do that at speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail on your phone, on your smartphone. I had to reset the system, so if you put any voicemails in there in the last week or so, we lost them. I apologize. But get your voicemails in, and we're going to give away every Friday from now on out here a best voicemail gift card. So $25 gift card to one of our sponsors for whoever has the best voicemail. You can do that the rest of the week at Signature Roofing's speakpipe.com/BNN. And again, brought to you by Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection, you can do that online at mysignatureroofing.com. Talking transfer portal with Brad Bedell in just a second, but Element Fencing, another new sponsor we want to welcome and thank, elementfencing.com. Whether it's decks, cedar, wrought iron, vinyl, they got decks, pergolas, fences. I mean, you name it, they can do it. Family-owned company, more than 25 years serving the Treasure Valley with high-class craftsmanship and fencing. All your fencing needs, make sure you hit up elementfencing.com. Check them out. View some of the work they've done. Elementfencing.com. They did a fence for us at our old house. It was a tremendous work. We appreciate Brady and the staff there at Element Fencing. Again, online at elementfencing.com. All right, Brad. So we are here at Circa, and I mentioned the transfer portal is cooking. Our man Chris Van Sickle is doing a tremendous job right now, tracking the transfer portal, tracking all of the additions and subtractions. Akeem Wright, the wide receiver, he talked to him. We're going to have that story going up here after the show when I get back up to my room and put that up in the system and publish it. But all the information you want to know, and that's probably where Brad's looking right now to get this full list, is BroncoNationNews.com. The main story there is our transfer tracker portal, and you get a little bio on each player and some stats that has left and those that have come. We're keeping track of the negatives and positives here, and a couple of new additions. Brad, I said, I think either with you last week or middle of last week, late last week at some point, I said that they were on the right track, but I said I wanted to see an offensive lineman and I wanted to see a safety. And they got both of those. They got the offensive lineman from CSU Pueblo, and they got the safety as well. And then even within the last couple of days, they went back to Notre Dame. Jaden Mickey probably helped play a role in that one, and got a kid from Notre Dame to come in and add even more depth there. So that is another safety, by the way. So they've added 2 safeties, which we said they really needed to do. The kid from Notre Dame's intriguing. Doesn't really have many stats or things, but certainly you're a scholarship player that Notre Dame wants. That's good enough for me to take a look at you and say you're probably good enough to play at Boise State. But what do you make of the portal where it sits? And I don't know if you've had a chance to do any research or thoughts on Tyler Etheridge, the offensive lineman, CSU Pueblo kid, 6'5", 300 pounds, first team all Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, only has 1 year, I believe, left this coming year. And so it's probably coming in looking to get a chance to play right away. I believe his final 2 schools were Oklahoma State and Boise State. So they get a potential guy that should compete for a starting spot in Tyler Etheridge there along the line.
Yeah, big, long kid that can kind of come in, and he's a little bit, it's almost like a jack of all trades too. He's tall enough. He can come in. He can play outside. He can play inside. So now you're going to have competition, or now you can plug and play with some of the other players where that young man's going to fit. I think he's a tackle and a guard. I don't think he's a center. I noticed that they, or at least the word on Twitter or X, whatever they call it, they offered the Kent State center. So they're looking for a center too, which I think is needed for competition purposes. But the other thing I like that is, CSU's won a lot of football. And so he's used to winning. And so I think he's going to bring a competitive winning mindset. I like that signing a lot. The other thing I really like what they did at the wide receiver position. They brought in some kids of some great numbers. The JUCO kid, we know ratings, how that's worked out in the past, but number 1 JUCO kid in wide receiver in his position. A little bit of size, some speed into that room. So I think skill-wise they're doing it. Safety, we knew they had to do it because of what's-his-face left. That's how good I am. I just kind of, when they leave, I kind of forget about them. Mm-hmm. But they needed the safety, and they're going to – I will not go away. I like numbers. I like what they've done, but it's hard to disagree with what you said. He's a scholarship young man out of Notre Dame. And so, I'm excited what they've done in that regard defensively. The only thing I can't remember, and you'd have to, I couldn't find in the list. I could have been looking at old one, is what have they done at linebacker?
They've added 2 linebackers. They added actually a linebacker from Kansas. That was the very first guy I think they got to commit to this class, was a linebacker from Kansas, Logan Brantley, was mostly a special teams contributor, had 8 tackles, was mostly a backup player last year. I think he had 104 special team snaps, only 53 defensive snaps. But I would say the same thing again. And no, I'm not trying to make light of it, but I mean, obviously Kansas in years past has been a horrible team. They're at least somewhat competitive, and they're a mid-level Big 12 type team, mid to lower level, whatever. But if you're a backup player for Kansas, scholarship player, you're probably still good enough to at least compete for or deserving of at least a roster spot at a school like Boise State, and can compete for some playing time here. But we'll see. And then they also added another linebacker. I'm trying to scroll up and get the exact info on him. He was Chaffey College, Zaire Lewis, Chaffey College. He was a defensive back, but he had 47 tackles and could show that he could come downhill. 5.5 tackles for loss, had an interception, was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in whatever conference Chaffey College plays in. But he's a linebacker coming in from a non-D1 school as well. Yeah,
the Chaffey kid, I remember seeing that now. It'd be interesting to see where he fits. Is it a nickel spot? That type of thing. And then the Kansas kid's going to be your big physical inside the box player. I like the Kansas kid's intriguing because of right, wrong, or indifferent, right? For how many special team snaps the starters have played last year on special teams. Mm-hmm. That's a great signing to get a big time special teams player. and you can come in, he competes, he's rotational, or he starts at linebacker at Boise, or something happens where he's rotational at linebacker, but you brought in a special teams demon, which that is the most important thing of all time. I mean, there's a reason why 4 roster spots go to special teams demons in the National Football League.
Well, if you're playing 100+ snaps in one season on special teams and you're playing 12 games in a season or whatever, I mean, that's 8 to 10 snaps a game just on special teams.
No doubt.
You're on multiple special teams units and things.
Absolutely. I forgot about that young man. The Chafee kid, it's competitive football in Southern California. A lot of kids get signed out of Chafee, Mount Sac. They play the cream of the crop. So, it'll be interesting to see where he fits in that room, of where that position's going to be. I mean, if he is the safety, low safety type player, nickel's a good fit, can probably play some man when they want to blitz and things like that. So, but he also has the size to tackle. So that's good. Obviously, corner, they've done some things there. So I love everything they're doing. It's just today's kind of announcement's intriguing, and that's where it's kind of cool. I'm not in the room. I understand, I guess, kind of why you did it with the health of the room. But also it's like, okay, this is gonna. It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know how to explain it.
I know Sky Ship is asking here about Jeremiah Irby. There was talk about that JUCO waiver giving him another year at corner. I haven't heard anything on that, but I would suspect they're just expecting to not have him. And if something changes and the waiver, the ruling goes through the court system at the last minute, he wants to come back, great. But I don't think you can plan, Brad, on that happening at this point. And so they're trying to fill some spots at corner there. But they've added, what were the biggest positions we said going into the offseason? I mean, we certainly said safety. They've added multiple safeties. Linebacker, they've added multiple linebackers, multiple, I believe, defensive linemen, multiple wide receivers to the mix. I would like to maybe see one more O-lineman. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see one more O-lineman. You mentioned the Kent State center. There was a Cal Poly kid, I think, at one point that they had either offered or looked at, or I forget which school it was. One of those.
Cal Poly.
Okay, so
Marshall, I mean, kid.
Okay. And Chris talked to him, wrote about him. He had a couple of visits he was still going to take. So I would like, maybe they could still get one more offensive lineman, and I would probably say it's a home run. And we don't really know. I mean, you know more than me, but we don't really know where these kids fit in, how ready they are, how much they'll contribute if they'll work out. Their names on paper, but their names on paper at positions that we have been talking about for the last month that they needed to fill. So I mean, they address the needs, they address spots they have. And how does this work now, Brad? And I know you haven't been coaching since they started doing this, but they had the whole rule about the 105 and being on scholarship and all this. I don't remember what the acronym is for it, but you could designate some players that were not part of. They could be grandfathered in as not part of the 105 or not count against that if they're walk-ons or whatever. You could not count them and it'd be grandfathered in. So technically, you could have more than 105 players. And I guess essentially, Brad, walk-ons are going away, correct? You can have up to 105 players. They've got to all be on scholarship, I believe. And if they're not, there's rev sharing. I don't know all the rules. I'm probably speaking incorrectly on some of this. But the theory is you can add more players up to 105 on scholarship. But if you had some walk-ons, you could do it so they wouldn't count against them if they were already here. Is that fairly accurate?
Yeah. Current walk-ons on scholarship can be grandfathered into more than the 105.
Okay.
You can't go under 100. You cannot go over 105 scholarships.
Well, my point is right now it looks like they're at like 110 or 111. So we don't know how many. They don't give us that list, or we don't have the list yet. Maybe they'll tell us they just haven't yet. But we don't know how many of those designations they have, or they either have 5, 6, 7 designations of walk-ons that are guys that we don't know about, or they're going to still have to lose a couple more guys here to get down to the 105 because Nathan Carroll has been doing the math and we've been adding this up, and they have more additions right now. When you count the incoming freshman class and the transfer additions, they're now over by our projections the number. So how does that work? How do you get down to the 105?
Well, they're not over on scholarship, guys.
I believe so. Again, I don't know how many of these designations you have, but they're going to have 110, they're like 112 guys or something on the roster right now. So we got, and I just, like I said, I don't know how many of these guys that we're counting are are walk-ons that were under this designation that would bring it back down below the 105, but they're at 112, 111, 113 players, something like that right now.
On the roster.
Yes.
On the roster. So
yes, I believe so.
I mean, walk-ons are on the roster.
I understand that, but because of this designation thing, I don't know which ones of those are actually
still
walk-ons or got moved to scholarship, I guess, to count for the 105.
Agreed. And we also don't know the ones that have decided that they're, as a walk-on, that they're not coming back. You just don't. Usually they just kind of keep. It's funny, even back when walk-ons, when scholarship kids leave, there's like announces, oh, we're leaving, I'm going to the portal, right? You know, sometimes walk-ons come in and go, this isn't for me, or I can't afford it. I've got to get a job. I can't afford the tuition without a job. I can't play football anymore. So eventually those guys just go, okay, you're on the team. We're just going to put you off the roster. So I think it'll be interesting to see when they're done after the portal ends, then going, or even better, going into the spring ball, what that roster looks like rather than anticipating it now.
Well, somebody just commented like, oh, can you, when does the roster need to be set? Can you cut guys after spring? And I mean, technically, yes, you can. It's not till everybody gets here, probably, Brad. So like they have 18, I think, early enrollees, but if not everyone's here until June, you don't have to count. You can not count that, I think, till essentially when fall camp starts is when the 105 has to be set, I guess, theoretically. But there's no spring portal. Like that would be, I mean, yes, it's dirty business, dirty pool, whatever. Like it does happen in college athletics where coaches have conversations with players and basically say like, hey, like you're probably better off playing somewhere else. We don't see you fitting in and playing here. And frankly, that's what happened with probably multiple guys that you saw leave Boise State in December because they just didn't see an opportunity, thought they'd play elsewhere. But once you get past Friday, Brad, like that'd be tough for Spencer Danielson after spring ball to have a conversation with a kid and say, you're not going to be playing here. We don't have a spot for you when when the portal's not. And I don't know how that if the coach is the reason the kid leaves, I don't know if that does anything to the portal or if the kid's just SOL. I mean, I guess that's going to happen, but that's one of the arguments for, a window after spring ball to kind of let kids see where they stand and then decide if they want to stay or leave. But that would be tough ball for Spencer Danielson to not tell a kid by Friday and then a month from now or, a week after spring ball say, we don't see you playing here. And, oh, by the way, we need your roster spot. So I don't know how that would all play out. I think a lot of those kind of decisions have to be made, should have already been made.
I guarantee with Spencer, I guarantee they've been made. I mean, he doesn't pull the wool. It's you can have conversations. It's like, hey, listen, especially walk-ons. Let's just use safety position or the wide receiver position as a walk-on. It's a better one because they've signed quite a few of them. Go, hey, listen, we're going to go to the portal for this wide receiver. We're going to sign some high school kids. They're going to eat up in the numbers, and I can't promise you a roster spot when we get through with this. And you can stay on the roster right now, but if we go over, there is a chance that I am going to have to release you from this football team. The young man has got to make the decision and say, coach, I want to stay. I want to stay. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then, hey, at the end of the day, you have the conversation. Remember when we had this conversation about a month and a half ago or after the bowl game stating that this is what could happen? Well, it happened. And so now we just don't have a spot for you anymore. And so those conversations with Spencer they've happened. I do not expect anything to come out and all of a sudden say, I'd be absolutely shocked if they came out and said, well, Spencer cut me and he didn't even tell me and this and that. He doesn't operate that way. There's just that whole staff. If a coach operated that way, even before Spencer in the Boise State football coaching era, you never lie to kids because we do what we're going to say and we mean what we're going to say. And that's through the course of time.
And somebody on the chat is asking about, well, can't they still go walk on somewhere else? Yeah, I mean, if you're a walk on, sure, you could go, I guess, walk on just somewhere in the fall if you get cut in the spring. But if you're a scholarship player, actually, I don't even know about that if you're a walk on. If you're still technically you still have to, even a walk on has to go in the portal, I believe, to switch spots. So I don't think you could just go walk on somewhere else. I think you can't transfer unless you enter the portal. And if the portal's closed, the rosters are pretty much set, right? I mean,
I would assume so. I'll be also honest with you. I am not as educated through the roster or that.
Yeah, and all that stuff. A lot of stuff has changed since you got out of coaching.
Even like walk-ons used to go, hey, you got to go, and I'm just going to find another high school walk-on.
Yep.
Okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to drop
school
out of
from a school somewhere in your hometown or around where the team is. Add another local kid.
Correct.
What do you make? I don't know if you've done any research on him, but Terrence Brown, the new co-defensive coordinator, defensive backs coach coming over from Cal. He's coached some big-time defensive backs. Another guy we talked about, Brad, kind of like the previous hire at wide receiver. No direct ties, not an alum. He did coach under Chris Peterson at Washington. I believe there was some crossover there, and so he probably comes respected by Coach Pete, who talks a lot with Spencer Danielson. But the co-defensive coordinator, and they called him the defensive backs coach. I haven't been able to confirm what that exact means, but, they've obviously always had safeties and corners coaches. Is that just reading too much into it? They still have a spot left. They'll, switch that up, whatever, at some point? Or does defensive backs coach mean they're going to put all that now into one spot, you think?
The way you read it, it's all in one spot. And now you can play with the extra coach, in that regard.
Somebody mentioned maybe Frank Maile just becomes the full D-line coach and you let Chenander just be the defensive coordinator and not have a position. Would you be on board with that or no?
Yeah. I'd be on the board with that. It could mean a whole host of things. Paul Creighton, here's one friend of mine. He was at Northwestern. So they hired him. Then they hired what's his face, the professional motorcycle rider. Then they hire Chip Kelly. I'm sorry, they hired Chip Kelly. And then Chip Kelly came in.
Talking about Bobby Petrino, the professional motorcycle. That'll be fun watching him and Bill Belichick there at UNC.
Yeah, I got those. So they hired Chip Kelly at Northwestern. Chip Kelly wanted to bring some of his guys. So Chip Kelly hired a tight ends coach. Well, Paul Creighton went from he's no longer the tight ends coach. He's now the full-time special teams coordinator. Right? So I don't know if they're going to possibly do something with that. There's so many, like that defensive is very intriguing right there. Is because they can play with it a little bit with the experience on that staff. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. It's all hearsay. I agree with you with Frank. But I also think it's interesting. You go back to connections. Well, Justin Wilcox was at Boise State for a little while. And I know Spencer and Justin, they all talk and things like that. So between Coach Pete and Justin and on that staff and the experience he has, he was also a defensive coordinator and things like that, where now he can control that back end with experience in the back end and get with Chenander and blend everything so the secondary and the front seven are in cohesion. So there's a lot of things they could do with that. Hiring, the two things when we talked about the coaching changes, right? And say you got to trust Spencer, who knows what he's going to do. But I remember specifically we talked about this, like I didn't say I don't want to speak for you, BJ, but I didn't want to see a green kid coming off of a GA job getting an important wide receivers position, an important corners position, or something like that.
We talked about Davis Cutter, maybe a guy that would have maybe
correct
that role.
Right. Well, I think Spencer saw it the same way and said, "Oh, I want experience. I want running a room. I want meetings. I want everything done. I want experience." And I think that's what he did. And
I
that's
want to be this guy drinking a huge beer right here at 9:30 in the morning here in Vegas is what I want to be.
Hey, don't judge people.
He's got one of those 40-ounce Circa things, probably cost him $15, and he is just halfway down with a Modelo or something at 9:30 on a Monday morning in Las Vegas. I love it.
How about this one? Maybe he hasn't even gone to bed.
Maybe, but he's heading up to make a bet at the sports book. Maybe he's a big Steelers fan, already getting ready for tonight. I don't know, but
he's
a Monday morning at 9:30 in the morning, and he's half down a Modelo with 40-ounce Modelo. I love it.
Yeah,
sorry,
I
Brad.
do too. But anyway, so he went after experience, and he got two and very experienced football coaches.
Yeah,
I think that's important. He won that. I think he won that. I think he's winning in the portal.
Yeah.
So to go back there, they could play with some things. I don't know. He said in the press conference that, hey, listen, I'm not going to make any staff changes, but I could make some title changes. You know what I mean? So who knows what he's going to do? But what he's doing right now, is, time will tell. I mean, you always don't want to put the cart before the horse, but there's some of these things are some home run things. And like I said, time will tell. And so I just like what he's done. And I think the program has moved on and gotten better right now. Now it's just time the coaches to the new coaches to get in the Boise way. And this is how they do things. Yeah. And listen to the ideas outside the program, how they did it. And they have good ideas too. So I think it's going to be important. I think getting all the amount of freshmen, the newcomers that are coming in this semester early, that helps. And you got the portal kids. So I think you're going to see a very competitive spring ball.
Yeah, no doubt. And they do have the one coaching spot left, so we'll see what they decide to do with that. Speaking of transfer portal, Brad, any thoughts on the news this morning? Chris Marshall transferring to Arkansas. Chris Marshall back on his third SEC school.
Good for him. I don't wish any ill will. Some people have 9 lives. And so I wish him nothing but the best. When you leave here, I have no ill will to anybody who's going to leave Boise State, especially these young men. They want to do what's best for them. Okay. I wish him nothing but the best, but it's like the safety, right? I just kind of forget about you, forget your name, not going to play against you. So I don't have to worry about it. It's just good luck to you, but I care more about Boise State winning than Chris Marshall, who's going to go get drummed in the SEC.
Yeah. Well, he's been at 2 SEC schools already. Maybe he's more equipped now to go back there. And nothing against Chris Marshall, but I was told that nobody – how do I say this nicely towards Chris Marshall? When they found out he was leaving, I don't think there was a huge clamoring of disappointment from those inside the building.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they were crying spilled milk.
His talent was obviously there, but my understanding of the focus, just some of the off the field stuff, the focus, the attitude, some of that kind of stuff, I was told was not necessarily a positive trait of his. And moving on from Chris Marshall, I think ultimately could end up being a positive for this team. This team.
Let's see. Yeah. And that's the other thing is, how do I say this without just lambasting anybody? Boise State's going to hold you accountable. And if you cannot handle that, Boise is not a place for you to come to. Period. It's not for everybody. I mean, that's the one thing. Everybody wants to talk about Boise State and what makes them tick and why this and why that. Because it's not for everybody. It's not, the decks aren't for everybody. Right? The preparation that's demanded on Boise State football players is not for everybody. So you came in, you got held to the fire, you got suspended, they brought you back, drop a slant ball on 4th down. Okay? They're going to hold you accountable. If you can't do that, it's time for you to go see greener pastures. Go to an SEC team that may not, and new coach, new culture, new everything.
But if you're an SEC coach, the talent's undeniable. You just the size and some of the tape, and he had a great game against Washington, I guess, in the bowl game to finish it off. Maybe they're thinking they can catch lightning in a bottle there and get his best season here, and that we'll see. But
you hope. But I tell you what, I know a couple of people have gone on to that staff, and I never got a call. This is the one thing that I'm intrigued to ask, and I'll ask and probably won't announce it to everybody, but usually when kids transfer, you immediately get on the phone to anybody that's attached to that school where he's transferring from and go, hey, why is he leaving? Well, he's really good, but he's not that good, and we've kind of out-recruited him with the top 4 safety in the country. Mm-hmm. That's different rather than, hey, he's leaving.
His talent's not worth some of the other issues that come with it.
Correct. Or he's leaving because he's a shitbird.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You used to do that now. Now I think everybody's just so enamored to get these kids and they're 5-star and they're 6'5", 210 and can fly. Well, you got, if you think you can take the baggage, if the baggage is worth the amount of the player, then you roll with it.
Yep.
If you don't, you're going down a tree or you're barking up a tree that you're just going to smash your head against it. And we know how that happens.
Well, we're having fun down here at Circa, Brad. Any thoughts tonight? I know we say in the intro we talk only Boise State sports, but when you're at Circa, I guess you can make a small adjustment here. We got Texans -3 at the Steelers on the board up here, and then obviously you got the Bills, slight favorite over the Broncos, Rams -3.5 over the Bears. You have the Seahawks -7.5. And then the CFP National Championship a week from tonight. That's another crime. We have to wait another week for the college championship. -8 for Indiana at that game on Monday, the 19th. But Texans -3 over the Steelers tonight in Pittsburgh. What do you think?
Oh, I want the Steelers to win.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'll go for the Steelers. I like.
Me too.
I hope Aaron Rodgers goes as far as he can.
Did you ever overlap with him?
Yeah, play with him in Green Bay.
Okay.
So
was he a good dude, or does he get a bad rap sometimes? Or
I think he gets a horrible rap to the media. I think that they have absolutely lambasted him for absolutely no reason because he speaks what he believes in. So that means if you speak what you believe in, people don't agree with you, you're going to get killed with it.
Is this it for him, you think?
I think so. I think if he goes deep in the playoffs, I know it's going to, I would assume it's going to be it. But I think he does a good job saying, well, I don't know. I just want to win with this team. Well,
yeah.
Usually when they say I just want to win with this team means, he's going on, he'll be 41 years old. And, it comes to a point where his legs aren't helping him anymore. And can he keep himself out of trouble? And it's like Phillip Rivers. I mean, God bless him for what he did, but oh my God, he's just
he earned his family 5 more years of health insurance and stuff. So
yeah, another year of retirement.
Yeah,
another 1.75 mil.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Well, final thing for you, Brad. I mean, Friday night the transfer portal closes. So what happens between now? Today is the first day of school. So I believe last night was the team meeting. They're back in the winter workouts this week, I believe, starting tomorrow or today with school starting today, and then the transfer portal closing on Friday. All these incoming freshmen, you've been a part of this, where they all, mom and dad, they're happy. They show up on campus. They got their video game system and their TV, and they think they're going to have all this free time in their dorm room and all going to check out all the ladies down the hall. And I mean, what is this week like for the incoming freshmen, for the team coming back together, that first week of winter workouts, that first team meeting, and then you throw in the transfer portal closing on Friday? Just kind of paint the picture, if you can, for fans watching this about what's going on this week here with the Boise State football team.
Well, the freshmen have come in with thinking they're going to be the next All-American at Boise State, and they've worked their entire butt off to get ready for this moment, and they are going to absolutely get smoked in the face because they have never worked as hard as they're about to work come probably today, tomorrow, and it's just the beginning. And this week's great. You go to class, everything's great. You're meeting the girls, you're doing all that. And then all of a sudden, about a week and a half, it's like, this is really hard. This is really hard. Hey, Mom, how's everything going there? Oh, the family just got together. We let's watch the national championship game. It's awesome. Oh, now I'm homesick. So you gotta bring them along and talk to them and bring them over to your house as the coach and feed them and play video games with them and love them up and everything you said you were going to do during the recruiting process. That's what you do. And then, the older guys need to accept them and get them out of the dorm room. Don't let them sit in the dorm room by themselves. That's the number one misnomer. Don't let the freshman sit in a dorm by himself, because he's thinking like, this is 10 times harder than I thought it would ever be. Well, maybe I should go home. Every year it happens. And it usually happens between week 2.5 to 3.
When spring ball just seems so far away still. And
well, they're not, I don't even know when the first
classes are starting to get harder. Homework.
Got to get up at 5:30 because they're going to start morning runs at 6:15. And then they're going to have to go to study hall. And then they're going to have to go to class. And then they're going to have to come back and go lifting. And then they're going to start meetings to get ready for spring ball. So then that's going to be at whatever time. And then all of a sudden now they're going to start having exams. Well, wait a minute. Now you've got day 1 through 4 install to study. You said you wanted to start here, so you got to prepare like a starter. And we're going to give you a shot. Everything's open competition. And then the transfers are going to come in, and that's what the difference between freshmen have to adhere to the Boise way, but they only know the high school way. So that's a lot easier, where the transfers need to just dive into the Boise way, and you need to cut off whatever you did in the past. It doesn't – what you've done in the past is what got you to Boise State. Now you just got to say, hey, well, no, we're not doing it that. This is the Boise way. Either dive into it or, you know what, you made the wrong decision, and you're never going to play. And so that's the important thing. Those guys got to dive in to the Boise way because they're the ones that are going to start faster than the freshmen.
Bronco 130 says, I don't know, Brad. BSU has some pretty sweet new dorms on campus.
They do?
I think he's making a joke just about
aren't they still? I don't know. The Chadio, they're beautiful. It's a great place to live for a year.
But the point is, yes, keep the guys together. Don't keep them by themselves. That's a good point. And
exactly, you have to. You have to. And you got to see them, and you got to take them to lunch, and you got to.
I've even heard from people that said try to introduce them to athletes on other teams or kids and other that aren't, not just have your football boys and your buddies, but if you got friends on the basketball team or the women's soccer team or whatever else, just try to add to your group of friends or whatever. The earlier you can do that, the better. Which I guess is common sense. Go meet new people, and that's anybody's way of life there.
Yeah, and as the coach, bring them into your office and just BS with them. BS with them, like you did in recruiting. Recruiting's half of it's BS. It's just like, hey, how you doing, man? Everything all right? And then immediately, and I know this is going to sound really weird, immediately ask if his girlfriend that you knew he had in high school, are they still together while he's at Boise State? Because that's going to draw a lot of his time too. So then here comes a future heartbreak. It's all the things you got to think about to make sure you're connected with a player the right way. You got to be connected with a player. And
so if you're a position coach, every player's girlfriend's name.
Hey, you still dating that gal? Yeah. Cool. Well, what's the date? 2 weeks. That's going to be over. It's just the way it is. I mean,
and you want them to find. You probably want them to find one on campus, so they're not trying to be homesick and go back.
Well, yeah.
I say that jokingly. I know you want if they're happy before. Yeah. I'm kidding.
The kids, as long as you're the same person you are, how you recruited them. Like I always did. I was like, I like there'd be games that they didn't play very well, and I go, you just didn't play well. Okay, and it was this, and this that you played awful. Okay, and so then now, as long as you have that interaction, they know the person you are. When you get in the building, the transition's smoother. It's the coaches that don't act the same. They aren't the same person during the recruiting process.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they get into the building and you flip the script on the kid and now you're not that person. That's when the kid said, I made the wrong decision because this isn't the guy who I signed with.
Which Spencer claims a lot publicly that he tells him how hard it's going to be because he doesn't want to lie to him. He said, I tell you, it's not going to be easy. If it ain't for you, it may not be for you. Then don't come here. But he claims he's not one of those guys that sugarcoats it. He almost says it's almost paints the picture of being harder than it is. So he wants guys that are ready for that.
He's 100% right. I always went unofficial visits during the summer, like when you could do that, the windows change, all that. I ask kids, hey, can you get in here during deck day in the morning? I want them to watch it. I wanted to see the kids just wither in pain on the decks and just the pukers are going to puke, things like that. And then when I met with them, I said, did you see that this morning? I was like, you have to understand how hard this is. And I want to make sure this is clear because I'm not going to talk you into working hard. If I'm going to have to talk you into working hard, you're going to last with me about a week. So you can't do that. So it's hard. And I'm going to be demanding, but I'm going to be fair. And so as long as you paint that picture, you're in a great spot.
And O-line and D-line probably have the hardest time on those decks.
Oh, it is awesome to watch. I've had a good laugh a time or two.
I'm sure, and I'm sure the coaches weren't. I'm sure the players weren't feeling the same way back at you at that point. But
here's a funny story about the decks, and I know you want to get out of here because you got beers to drink, all that stuff, because you're in Las Vegas.
You got to find that guy that had that 40-ounce Modelo. Yeah,
no doubt. So when I was, this is actually funny. When I was hired here, in 2017, we started the decks. Well, we did the decks on Friday. And so I had the O-line over for dinner on Thursday night.
Uh-oh.
And I got Luciano's.
Good
and
spot.
It was chicken parm up the yin-yang. It was spaghetti. It was everything. Well, they do the decks the next day. And guess what happened? It was a free-for-all of chicken parm, spaghetti and trash cans. And Coach Arson comes and says, hey, Brad, O-line had a rough day. I'm like, Coach, this is my fault. I had them over for dinner last night. I fed them Luciano's. He goes, well, lesson learned, right, Brad? I said, yes, sir, lesson learned.
That should have been a Friday night thing. Come on.
Exactly. But now I went into it and I go, guys, I apologize. I was like, I'm sorry for getting that dinner. And they're like, no, it was awesome. We loved it. Wasn't very fun today, but it was fun. That's a funny story about that.
Didn't think that one through. That's funny.
Did not think that one through.
Appreciate you for coming on, man. Always appreciate your insight. Next Monday, the portal will be closed. We'll have a little more clarity, finality to some of this. Remember, Brad, I mean, you know this, Brad, but other folks don't. You can add players after the portal window closes. You just have to, if you're a player, you have to enter the portal before the Friday. So you'll at least know which Boise State players are leaving by Friday, and we'll have some clarity on that. But they could still add a guy Saturday, Sunday, next Wednesday, or whatever, as long as their name is in the portal. Unless you're playing in Monday's game. If you're on the Miami or Indiana, you get 5 extra days after Monday, so that could still cause a little movement. But you have to make your intentions known that you are going to enter the portal by Friday night at 9:59 p.m. if you're on Boise State Mountain Time. If you're on Boise State's roster that you want to enter, so we'll have a better idea on the running back situation and all that by Monday, or by Monday when you come back on. So appreciate it, Brad. Thank you so much, man. Miss you down here. We'll try to get you down to enter the contest next August again. And heck, maybe we get you down for media days in July. Make you a real journalist here for a couple days and extend your stay. And maybe I know you'd probably enjoy hanging out with some of these Pac-12 coaches and stuff, and have a good time down here for a couple days. So
awesome. Couldn't wait to interview the Colorado State new head coach.
You're a big
Jim
Mora guy.
I do. I actually like him. He's a hell of a football coach. That's a hell of a hire.
Yeah, well, they're coming to the Pac-12. He'll be there. You can talk.
They're still ass. So.
Well, we appreciate it, man. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later, Brad.
All right, see you, bud.
Appreciate Brad Bedell for jumping on. Always appreciate his insight, talking transfer portal, talking first week of classes, first week of winter workouts. Again, we're down here at Circa Resort and Casino. Look at this place, Circa Resort and Casino. Phenomenal spot. They got all the games over there and the lines. They got all the action over here. 3 levels of sportsbook here at Circa Resort and Casino. I showed this video earlier, but I'll show it again here. I mean, this place is just phenomenal. The size at Circa Resort and Casino, 3 levels. You see the chairs, the tables, the different options they have at this place. It is by far, square footage wise, the largest sports book in the world. You see the 3 levels there and the different options on both sides. They have the movie theater style seating. They've got the big tables there in the middle that you can rent out, the couches, some of the lounge chairs, the lazy boy recliners, all kinds of options. And then you have the multiple levels behind it as well. So this place truly is amazing. I'm telling you, Mountain West tournament, folks, maybe you're not, as I said at the beginning of the show, not feeling great about how Boise State basketball is playing right now. I'm not going to waste the money to come down here for the Mountain West tournament. They're going to lose the first game, whatever. Who cares? Conference tournament, again, take it from someone that literally has been here for the conference tournament each of the last 7-8 years at Circa, or whatever it opened, 5-6 years, I guess. There's no better place in Las Vegas than the conference tournament. Everybody wants to come for the first and second week of the tournament. You actually get way more games, way more action conference tournament week. So you can come out here, watch Boise State, see how they do, but so many other games on. The pool's popping out at Stadium Swim. There's so much going on. Like, I highly recommend, if you're on the fence about when you should come down here to Circa, conference tournament weekend is actually a tremendous weekend to come check it out. And if you've never been to Circa, it's a phenomenal first-class spot. We'll try to get the pool party going again. We'll try to be, maybe do the happy hour event again. So thank you to Aaron, the marketing department, Brooke, Tyler, Wilbo, Banksy, the president, David Rossborough, and, of course, all the way up to the top, Derek Stevens, the owner and CEO of this place. Really appreciate their partnership and appreciate their friendship, more importantly. And this place is like a second home to me, and I know you guys always give me crap for always being at Circa, but they make it pretty easy. I mean, they make it pretty easy to want to come down here. The customer service from the janitor all the way up to the owner is first class here. The restaurants are phenomenal. Gonna have Abe Jackson over later today to go to the Barry's Steakhouse tonight. Might have Bob and Abe over and go to the steakhouse tonight at Barry's. The restaurants are phenomenal. The pool is awesome and world class. The sports book behind me is the largest in the world. I mean, it is it truly is something special. So reach out to me if you're interested in coming down. I'll see if I can get you some sort of discount. But conference tournament would be an awesome time to come down and check out Circa. Book now before it fills up. But come on down to the conference tournament. Come on down to hang out at Circa. And appreciate you guys for your support of Bronco Nation News. Again, spent the first 30 minutes or so talking basketball. So if you came in late, you can go back and watch that. But Boise State obviously got some things to figure out, some changes they got to make. And we'll talk more basketball tomorrow with Jay Tuss as we get set for the game tomorrow night against UNLV here in Las Vegas. The Broncos will practice today in Boise and then fly down to Vegas to join me here in this phenomenal city, Las Vegas, here later this afternoon. So Bronco Nation News, of course, you know it by now, the only local outlet other than Bob and Abe on the radio and KTIK and Learfield and the Bronco Radio Network. No newspapers, no TV stations. We're the only outlet that travels on the road with the team. So you're getting coverage here that quite literally you cannot get anywhere else, especially today as we're broadcasting live from a casino here in Las Vegas. I mean, that is pretty crazy when you think about me starting Bronco Nation News and going out on a limb and taking a chance and quitting a full-time job to start this company and give this a shot. And here I am on a marketing deal staying at Circa Resort and Casino, the nicest casino in all of Las Vegas, doing a live show from a sports book. I mean, I pinch myself sometimes, folks. It is pretty crazy. And we're not where we want to be. Got some big goals for BNN, but certainly we're moving in the right direction, and it's because of all of your subscriptions. I know some of you I call trolls. Some of you I get at you on social media, in the chat, whatever. But I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I enjoy the back and forth. Enjoy the haters. It's fun. And I literally wouldn't have a job if I didn't have you guys, even the ones of you that don't like me. So I appreciate each and every one of you for watching these shows every day, for hitting that subscribe button on YouTube, for helping us push towards 8,000 YouTube subscribers here, for hitting that like button, turning on your notifications so you know when we go live. Those of you that make watching this show at 9 a.m. Mountain Time every morning part of your daily routine, we truly appreciate that and appreciate all of you for supporting us here at BNN, for coming down to Circa and supporting our sponsors and all of our great sponsors like Lithia Ford of Boise and Sun Cruiser and all of our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, ICCU, the Blue and Orange Store, Signature Roofing, Bauscher Real Estate, Element Fencing, Ridley's Family Markets, Transportation Compliance Service, Timberstone Golf Course. I mean, I probably missed somebody, and I apologize if I did, but really appreciate all of our sponsors and appreciate all of you for supporting our sponsors, and that the offer still stands. If you take a picture of yourself supporting one of our sponsors, post it to social media, tag us, we'll put you in a drawing for some sort of prize pack from some of our sponsors, or a big gift card to thank you for doing that. So let the sponsors know you're supporting them because of BNN, and continue to support the sponsors, continue to go on our message boards and get the discussion going there. Continue to check out all of our great stories and what Chris Van Sickle's doing covering recruiting, Nathan Prater, myself, and the writing we're doing at BroncoNationNews.com. And until Friday, you get until Friday for that 50% off deal. If you're thinking about it, now's the perfect time with the portal, with basketball, with all kinds of stuff going on as we get ready for spring ball. $5 a month is all it costs right now to help us out here at BroncoNationNews.com. You can go to BroncoNationNews.com, click Join VIP in the upper right-hand corner, and it's just $5 a month to join the 24/7 sports family. It's a one-time fee of $60, and then you're done. And we also offer the $12.99 a month monthly option if you'd rather do that. But appreciate all of you guys for supporting us, and hope you'll continue to support our sponsors. And like I said, if you're looking for a spot to come down to Las Vegas with the wife, if you're a sports fan, there truly is nowhere better. I mean, I talk a big game about it, but anyone that's come here has never said, yeah, that place wasn't as cool as you said. They always say it's even better, man. Stadium swim outside. The pool's unbelievable. This place is unbelievable. The whole place is unbelievable. The rooms are touchscreen. They're super nice. I mean, it's just a phenomenal spot. And again, we appreciate Derek Stevens and everybody at Circa for their marketing partnership with us, and for trusting that we're going to bring them business. And hopefully you guys will return the favor and come check out Circa on your next trip down here to Las Vegas. Somebody in the chat is asking about the game time. It is 8 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, so another 9 p.m. Mountain time start. But I guess at least the good thing for you is it's on the road, so you can get in your pajamas and get a Sun Cruiser and watch the game from home tomorrow at 9 o'clock. But it is a 9 p.m. Mountain time start, 8 p.m. down here in Las Vegas on a Tuesday at the Thomas and Mack Center against UNLV. So appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Chris Van Sickle has a story on Akeem Wright, the new wide receiver, the JUCO All-American. That's in the hopper. I'll get that posted to the website here in a short bit. We got some other recruiting coverage coming up. Nathan will have a basketball analysis piece previewing the game tomorrow. All kinds of coverage coming to BroncoNationNews.com. Go check that out. Go subscribe. And go get the discussion going in the message board as well as we're discussing transfer portal and basketball and all kinds of stuff. So we're working today. I know Brad said go have a beer, but we're working today. I'm going back up to the room. We're going to post a story. We'll be working today, and there's all kinds of coverage and things we have planned coming the next couple of days. So we'll be back 9 a.m. tomorrow. Jay Tuss will join me tomorrow at 9 a.m. as we talk basketball and get you set for the game tomorrow night. We'll talk football and all kinds of discussion. The only local Boise State show that's daily and talks pretty much nothing but Boise State sports is right here on Bronco Nation News. So thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day. If anything happens or breaks, we'll see you on social media. We'll see you at BroncoNationNews.com. And hopefully at some point we'll see you down here at Circa. Just a phenomenal spot, Circa Resort and Casino. So thankful to be here. Looking forward to the game tomorrow night at UNLV. And we'll break that game down, have a little more discussion on that tomorrow with Jay Tuss. But again, if you jumped in late, we did spend the first 30 minutes of the show talking Boise State basketball, so you can go back and watch that first 30 minutes when this show ends here. So thanks a lot. Again, from the Sun Cruiser Studios, go pick up a Sun Cruiser. Those strawberry lemonade vodkas might be my favorite drink of all time. They've got the lemonade iced teas, the various flavors. No carbonation, low cal, low carb, 4.5% alcohol, and they pretty much got their start down here at Circa, and Circa loves them. The owner was drinking them yesterday. All the VIPs and the whole senior leadership team at Circa had buckets and buckets of Sun Cruisers going yesterday during the NFL playoff game. So drink what Derek Stevens drinks, a Sun Cruiser, and find one at your local gas station or grocery store. And, of course, our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. Your next car or truck purchase, make it at Lithia Ford of Boise. Again, congratulations to Ben Ford on the new NIL deal. New NIL deal for Ben Ford with Lithia Ford. And that seems like just a perfect NIL match made in heaven right there. So appreciate Lithia Ford, all of our great sponsors. Go subscribe. Go support the sponsors. Book your trip to Circa. And we'll be back 9 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow with Jay Tuss ahead of a game day for Boise State against UNLV tomorrow night. So have a great day. Appreciate you guys from Circa Resort and Casino, the largest sports book in the world. My name is BJ Rains, and this has been a presentation of Lithia Ford of Boise from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you have a great day. Appreciate my wife taking care of the kids back home. Love you. See you Wednesday, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News live from Circa Resort and Casino here in Las Vegas. Go check out BroncoNationNews.com. Take care, everybody.